Brazil is spending $152 million to build a highway through 13 kilometers of protected Amazon rainforest, all to host world leaders at a summit meant to stop climate disasters. The Amazon rainforest plays a crucial role in our planet's climate system. Spanning across 9 countries, it's home to millions of species and absorbs vast amounts of carbon dioxide. Yet, despite its significance in the fight against climate change, Brazil is clearing parts of it to build roads for a climate summit. It's an irony that's hard to ignore. An event designed to combat climate change in a location where its very cause is being exacerbated. Brazil's choice to host COP30 in Belém was not random. This city, where the Amazon River meets the Atlantic, sits at the front line of climate change. By November 2025, over 60,000 delegates, presidents, scientists, and activists will gather here to negotiate the planet's future. But to reach the summit, many will travel on a highway built by erasing part of the very ecosystem they aim to save. This highway project has already removed more than 1,200 trees, including endangered Brazil nut and mahogany, to create a 4-lane route through 13 kilometers of protected rainforest. The state government calls it a sustainable mobility solution, citing solar-powered streetlights and wildlife crossings. Yet satellite data shows the road fragments a critical jaguar habitat and opens access to 8,000 acres of previously untouched forest. This tension between global climate promises and local ecological costs defines COP30's complicated legacy before it even begins. Over the next year, Brazil will spend $4.7 billion upgrading Belém's infrastructure for the summit, from airports to sewage systems. The Amazon rainforest is often called the lungs of the earth. But what does that actually mean? Spanning over 5.5 million square kilometers across South America, it's the largest tropical rainforest in the world. But its importance goes far beyond just its size. The Amazon is responsible for producing around 20% of the Earth's oxygen, and it acts as a massive carbon sink, absorbing huge amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It's a crucial player in regulating the planet's climate, impacting everything from rainfall patterns to global temperatures. The rainforest is also home to 1 in 10 species known to science, including countless plants, animals, and insects. Many of these species are still undiscovered, and the Amazon is considered one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. But this vital ecosystem is under threat. Over the past few decades, deforestation in the Amazon has skyrocketed. According to the Brazilian space agency INPE, nearly 11,000 square kilometers of forest were lost in 2020 alone. While deforestation rates have fluctuated, the trend is clear. Human activity, primarily driven by agriculture, logging, and infrastructure development, continues to erode the forest at an alarming rate. And this is where things get tricky. When trees are cut down, not only are we losing valuable biodiversity, but carbon that was once stored in the trees is released back into the atmosphere. This leads to higher concentrations of greenhouse gases, exacerbating the very climate crisis that the Amazon helps mitigate. The destruction of forests doesn't just impact the local environment, it has ripple effects around the world. Global weather patterns are disrupted, agricultural yields decline, and the health of the oceans suffers, all of which contribute to the intensification of climate change. The Amazon is a linchpin in the global fight against climate change, and as such, its preservation should be a top priority. But the question remains, how do we balance the need for infrastructure and development with the need to protect this critical ecosystem? That's the challenge Brazil faces today, and it's one that we'll continue to explore in this video. Climate summits like COP meetings are where global leaders, activists, and experts gather to discuss solutions to the climate crisis. COP30 is the 30th meeting of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, where 197 countries negotiate global emissions targets. Previous summits led to landmark agreements like the Paris Accord, which set a goal to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. But with temperatures hitting record highs, COP30 faces pressure to deliver actionable plans, not just promises. These events are crucial for setting international agendas and holding nations accountable for their environmental impacts. For Brazil, a country home to the Amazon rainforest, these summits offer a stage to show the world its commitment to addressing climate change. But there's a catch. While Brazil is present at these global talks, it's simultaneously grappling with issues at home that undermine its environmental promises. At the heart of these contradictions is Brazil's role in the climate debate. As one of the world's largest greenhouse gas emitters, Brazil has made several commitments to reduce its emissions and protect its natural resources. The country has pledged to halt illegal deforestation in the Amazon and to restore degraded lands. These actions are essential to meeting global climate goals. Yet, despite these commitments, Brazil has also made moves that are at odds with its climate pledges. In fact, 2019 marked a significant increase in deforestation in the Amazon, reversing years of progress. The government has been criticized for weakening environmental protections, promoting policies that favor agribusiness and mining over conservation, and providing incentives for road construction and other infrastructure projects that further encroach upon the rainforest. This paradox extends to the climate summit, where Brazil finds itself in a delicate position. On the one hand, the summit presents an opportunity for Brazil to reaffirm its climate goals and show that it is a player in global environmental efforts. On the other hand, hosting the summit and building infrastructure for it requires exactly the type of development that threatens the Amazon's preservation. The construction of roads, hotels, and other facilities for the event leads to deforestation and habitat destruction, directly contradicting the country's public commitment to protecting the rainforest. The irony is hard to ignore. Brazil is using the Amazon to host a climate summit to address global warming, yet is simultaneously contributing to deforestation, the very problem the summit aims to solve. This conflict highlights the difficulty of addressing climate change in a country like Brazil, where economic development and environmental preservation seem to be in constant opposition. As the world's attention turns to Brazil's role in global climate action, this tension between Brazil's development goals and its environmental obligations will continue to be a significant issue. What will Brazil's actions at the summit reveal about its true commitment to the planet's future? And can the country find a way to meet both its development needs and its climate goals? And the environmental cost doesn't stop at deforestation. Roads often lead to further degradation of the land. As they open up previously inaccessible areas, they create pathways for illegal logging, mining, and agriculture. These activities are often difficult to control and regulate, especially in such a vast and remote region. In some cases, once roads are built, they act as conduits for further destruction of the rainforest, escalating the long-term damage. So, why is this happening? Is the immediate need for infrastructure worth the environmental trade-offs? Brazil, like many countries, faces a dilemma. On one hand, the country has made global commitments to reduce deforestation and protect the Amazon. On the other hand, it needs to meet the demands of hosting a global event, which requires modern infrastructure. The urgency of the climate summit means that the government is prioritizing short-term needs over long-term environmental concerns. This tension between development and conservation is not unique to Brazil. Many countries face similar challenges as they seek to modernize their infrastructure while balancing the need to protect natural resources. But the case of the climate summit in Brazil is particularly striking because of the direct contradiction between the event's purpose and the actions required to host it. Moreover, the construction of these roads doesn't just harm the forest, it also undermines Brazil's credibility in global climate negotiations. If the country continues to expand infrastructure that causes deforestation, it risks alienating international partners and losing trust within the global climate community. Brazil's participation in climate summits is crucial, but it must back up its commitments with actions that reflect the urgency of the climate crisis. The situation poses a tough question for Brazil. How can the country balance its economic needs with its environmental responsibilities, And can it be done in a way that doesn't undermine the goals of international climate action? So, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching. See you soon in our next video.